come out of the lane so early that they were able to control the game. That should be thwarted this time. We'll see pretty much regular starts in the inventories. No lane swaps. They get that Cloud9 solo AD carry to start last time that they've been doing so often.
I don't think they're going to be able to do that this time against the Alistar. Just because the harass will probably be too great for Sneaky. It is free harass, headbutt, and an auto attack from Alistar. They need to be able to preemptively shield that with Lulu. It'll be a lot on balls to have very quick reaction time on that shield. Otherwise, the Ally will destroy him in lane. We'll have to watch for that, and potentially more standard lanes. But as well, Alistar is super strong at level 1.
Yeah.
So they may get some nice jungle positioning here.
All right, the back and forth for wards. I see junglers probably start on both sides. Nope, downside for Meteos. Be interesting. We see Amazing usually trying to go and help Bjergsen in these early part of the games when he gets Syndra, the crowd control damage, and everything that she can bring early game, as that lane bully is quite huge. One missed wall and High could be going down quite fast. Not too many escapes coming in from Yasuo, but same side, Syndra doesn't have those escapes either, and Meteos is a deadly Elise.
And remember, no exhaust on TSM.
That's true.
How many assassin versus assassin matchups did we see yesterday in the Curse vs LMQ game where exhaust was being taken by both mid laners and both supports? And it was just an exhaust party in team fight.
These are going to be some fast fights then.
Potentially.
All right, Amazing onto the blue, gets a little bit of help. We are going to get the swap up to the top lane, but it's actually maybe the solo AD carry.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they're putting Sneaky against Alistar. Maybe they think he can get enough harass in when Alistar goes in that he can out-harass him. But I mean, with a Crystalline Flask on Ali, that's a little bit doubtful. I wonder what TSM's game is here, because they're actually not sending Ali up to that lane. He appears to be double jungling with Amazing and leaving Sneaky 1v0 in that top lane. I feel like that gives Cloud9 a pretty substantial early game edge here.
Yeah, and Sneaky hasn't leveled a thing in that lane. I mean, he can. It wouldn't be explosive shot. He's going to freeze the heck out of it, but he's just having the time of his life.
Yeah, right now a bunch of experience is going to waste in the top lane. It's an entire lane that TSM doesn't have access to. Instead, they are sharing the jungle that Meteos is getting solo experience for.
Yeah.
So a definite edge here for Cloud9. Unless TSM does something heroic with these Alistar and Kha'Zix plays, maybe an early 4-man dive is what they plan on. They are stacking up a pretty large minion wave here, but it's been warded out by Cloud9, so I imagine they'll be able to make a retreat.
Headbutt Pulverize is still what is used for Dyrus. They didn't get the heal, so they're coming in with full power on this one, chat. Already Cloud9 is pulling off a fantastic early ward towards the river. This is going to give TSM a little bit of control here. This almost looks like what they would try to do to Complexity and just completely shove them out of the lane with having more members in the bottom.
They're going to try and steal this white. If they do this, it's just going to add insult to injury. They stole it. Wow. Cloud9 is demolishing TSM in this early game right now.
Got to be playing against them. This is only going to cause TSM to have to try and make more moves.
They have to fast push this turret. They have to kill the turret now, otherwise the gold will not even be close. And now they're teleporting to the other lane with the Alistar, but Sneaky has a 2-level edge already, and they're going for a dive immediately.
Oh man, that's going to be even nicer than killing a Mundo. Taking down an Alistar as well, preventing that level 6 from happening, so it's going to be even harder for everything to happen from Team SoloMid with their front line.
The mind games right there is pretty immense. Now TSM trying to do the Dragon as a counter, but I wonder, they're down a man, no teleport. Can this be harassed off? It depends how well they juggle the Dragon aggro, and Elimination is just level 1.
Right in the face, Bjergsen. First bit of flow, but they trade the same amount of damage. Dragon still going over towards Team SoloMid with Elimination just trying to be a nuisance on the outside. Great job on the dodging out of the Dragon aggro. Amazing taking a little bit now as they know they just need to stay in and get it. So great response from Team SoloMid.
Yeah.
It was a chaotic early game, but they are able to control a bit of it.
Making the best out of a bad situation. You look at the gold and they do have the lead there because of the turret and the Dragon stacking up to be greater than the first blood. But the question will remain, how will Dyrus do? How much does this shut him down?
Right.
He's a level 2 Alistar who is normally picked to demolish the lane, get ahead, and then take over the mid-game team fights. It'll be a long time until he's level 6, and will he have any items to actually show presence with? That's where the problem will lie for TSM.
Be a while before he gets a lane to himself, especially with TSM taking it down soon. They can farm this bottom one as much as they want along with balls, and still the top lane I don't think it's taken much. Down to half, so warmed up for when they need it. But Sneaky can just sit here. Great play so far from both sides. I like the reactive play from Team SoloMid. It definitely shows that with the loss of the last game, they are still going strong with this best-of-5 series.
One thing that I've always admired about Cloud9 is their willingness to let top picks through and handle them. They may have done that with Alistair. They did it with the Zillion last game as well. Just champions that other teams think are insurmountable, and then Cloud9 shows the answer to it. Dyrus is definitely not having a good game here, and I want to see if Cloud9 is able to work around that ridiculous Alistair ultimate.
Oh, hello.
Lantern.
Lantern in.
Sneak attack.
The play for the slow. Slows for the play. So good. Just so good to prep that up. Lemon Nation had no way to get out of that. So well timed, such composure. Great job by Team SoloMid.
Hey, if TSM's going to keep mobbing like this and Cloud9 is not going to have proper vision control up, it will give TSM an early game lead here. Getting that kill and maybe leading to a second turret is pretty important, but the gank and miss.
Unfortunately, the flash is already down. Bjergsen got himself caught up in that bowl. Summoners, but he answers back onto high with the retribution kill of his own. TSM still going hard on the top lane, though.
Bjergsen hit level 6 in the nick of time to be able to get that ultimate out from Syndra, popping down high just enough. And they are now taking control of the map here because of the ward coverage and because of the turret damage that Lucian can provide early.
Here we go, Jet. 2 kills already on both sides at the beginning of this one. And like you said, 2 turrets down. Those turrets also mean map vision. So TSM's going to be able to put up and start getting those forward wards in without C9 knowing. Ball's backed up now, level 4 to level 5 in that lane. So Dyrus coming out of the jungle still kept himself doing pretty well here, even though he died.
Yeah, so the way this game is playing out right now, TSM definitely has an advantage in gold. But what that has cost them is a potentially very farmed Meteos. He now has his Sightstone and will try and control the vision. For TSM, they kind of just want to keep the pressure up. They have 2 turrets down already. If they can get through, they may be able to start starving Cloud9 off of experience. The gold lead lies to us right now because Cloud9 can still be in position to get other turrets, and in the jungle they hold a pretty decent experience edge as well as on this 80 carry slot. There's still much game to be played here.
TSM prioritizing the turrets quite a bit as they send everybody towards the top side.
Look at this, Meteos is going to hit level 7 on this red buff. Amazing is going to hit level 5 on his red buff. That's a big discrepancy if they meet. It basically means Meteos needs to start invading and bullying Amazing, which is difficult when TSM is pushing the lane so well.
And when you see that, when you are Meteos and you see Amazing at level 5, how fast do you act on it? What's your first point?
You have to act immediately. The focus here, though, is the mid lane, knowing there's a flash down.
And knowing that pressure from Amazing won't be as big. No ultimate there, and they are free to take down Bjergsen for a second time. The teleport has
Oh, man!
That teleport stopped. Actually, I think it was hit up by balls because they are close to the bottom lane.
Yeah, either Dyrus canceled it because he was worried about the 2 mammoths in the mid lane, or he just got it canceled. We'll have to take a check on that if it was canceled. But either way, either way, they're trying to punish the immobility of Syndra by just punishing that mid lane again and again, and knowing that a counter gank from Amazing is not threatening yet.
Right. So, play to the top lane now. A lot of aggression coming out of these lanes now as they meet. They've done quite a bit of solo damage. See if Turtle and Lustboy can get themselves some kills here on Lemonation and Sneaky. Like we said, that lane came out on top last time. We'll see if it can again.
I got word it was a very easy teleport cancel for balls. He just used his whimsy to get in range. It was not anything special. Flash was completely up, and now they also hold the teleport edge. Oh, this could be a nice setup, though.
Oh, consecutively stacking those crowd controls. Very nicely played. High only doing what he can to stay alive and get that teleport in. Balls cannot get the wild growth in time. They may have gotten themselves into a sticky situation here. One more scout of the week, but it's not going to be up. There it is with the blue buff, a little too late, but TSM gaining some good ground. 1,000 gold lead. Nice hook grab from Lustboy. The rotation now from the support, trying to put pressure down in the mid lane, and he starts to bring down Turtle with him. Dyrus is going headstrong from between the turrets. They are even walking through wards to get this one down. He's going to back off. Bjergsen in between the turrets now. 37 seconds on Dragon, and everything falling in for Team SoloMid right now.
Yeah, TSM is trying to out-teamwork Cloud9 right now, actually. They are the ones grouping up more frequently, trying to force team fights and collaborating with solo lane ganks, something that Cloud9 has basically coined. High and Ball is working together with ganks. That time it's Dyrus and Bjergsen chaining crowd control, finishing off High, and trying to finish this mid-turn.
Not a turret down yet for Team SoloMid, but they have dropped 3 of Cloud9's, and they're going to start getting forward wards.
Plus that Dragon number 2. How much is down for Cloud9? They are starved of vision. They have not been able to get this vision up. They're down 3 turrets, and if they lose this Dragon, it's even more.
Meteos is still very big. He can come up in these fights for the team. Tidal Wave just on the other side. It's actually not there yet. No 6 from Lemon Nation. TSM able to pick up another kill with ults not being there on the side of Cloud9.
It looks like Cloud9 have lost control. You could see it was like TSM was coming out of the abyss there with the Fog of War being targeted. Cloud9 had no idea where TSM was, so they could not make informed decisions, and TSM has actually just destroyed this early game, despite it seeming like Cloud9 had the edge.
4-3 and a 4,000 gold lead. To say almost 4,000 at 12 minutes into the game. Definitely a different game too here. Whatever talk that Reginald and Loco had on that stage is coming into play.
Yeah, check this out. I mean, the early game move to have Dyrus just double jungling and then do a 4-man push on the bottom lane. It's on Sneaky and Meteos to try and make an edge out of that. Meteos is 3-0-0, but with the Sightstone, his combat effectiveness isn't great. And Sneaky on Tristana, even though he did have that BF sword, if he's being paced by Dragon kills, turret kills, and player kills from Wild Turtle, he's just not going to be stronger. And everywhere they go, TSM actually has an edge, and they continue to get out-rotated.
Oh my gosh, wow, they keep Sneaky in. He held it. He let himself get hooked so he could get the rocket jump out, which seems to be the right play so far. Elimination just on the backside, still not 6, so he can't be using these tidal waves. He's got to get that soon to help the team out.
Cloud9 will need to find a catch in the jungle to stop TSM, but TSM is the team that's grouping up. It's remarkable that they're able to always be a bigger group while continually keeping the lanes pushed. Cloud9's wave clear is just not keeping up with this roam from TSM.
So many valuable wards being placed in Cloud9's jungle right now. TSM is having no trouble with these, and they seem much more comfortable this game. Pushing now the 2nd tier turret in the top lane. This should easily go down. We have High in the bottom who's going to be focused on that. So Cloud9 succeeds this turret, but they will not to the inhibitor.
Yeah, 4 turrets to 1 now is a pretty remarkable map pressure advantage. High trying to get something done in the split push, but it just means the rest of Cloud9 needs to withstand this and play the disengage game for a while.
Disengage indeed. TSM has found a way into the face of Cloud9 every time they needed to. A 0-3-2 coming in for High this game. Meteos has picked up those 3 kills, but they're not really able to spread that power around just yet. TSM, however, doing quite a bit with kills across the board.
I'd say this game probably actually turned when High got killed by Dyrus and Bjergsen in the mid lane. Up until that point, it was kind of a trade of experience for turrets, but then there was almost a critical mass of map pressure that you can lose. When High died 2v1 for that, they lost that 3rd turret and in turn lost Dragon pressure. Now it's just about how well TSM can constrict Cloud9 and cut off their farming paths.
Well, here's one. They're going to be able to deprive them of it. Not maybe a red buff. Cloud9's definitely going to act fast on this one. Meteos still in the mid lane to make sure Bjergsen has something to think about. Gives the rest of Cloud9 a little bit of pressure relief here in the jungle. TSM doesn't want to give up, though.
Dyrus has his teleport up, but he's not there immediately, and he's not willing to burn it as of yet. Ooh. Timely wind wall there by High. Would have been the death of him.
Let's say, when's he going to use it for the Syndra ult? But that definitely saved his life to keep it up for the death sentence. They're trying to harass everything. They're not letting Cloud9 get any bit of their jungle without harass.
TSM much more prepared early game here. They do have the better early game champions, Lucian greater than Trist for quite some time. You can see he's really outclassing him right now. No IE yet on Sneaky. Mid lane as well, Bjergsen always tries to dominate with Syndra, plus the fog of war control of Syndra is just spectacular.
That's a lot of the things that TSM loves to do, is create those late game picks just from a slight fog of war. Blue pickup, nice and easy for Bjergsen. He's sitting on penetration boots and an Athene's. Not huge yet, but for this point of the game, it's a nice spike. Very nice.
And Bjergsen actually sitting on 3 green wards right now to go with this sweeper. So you can tell it's all about map control right here for TSM. Cloud9 is going to try and disengage and farm out until they can hit some item breakpoints, because TSM is kind of already there for a lot of them. The Athene's on Bjergsen.
Yeah.
The Ghost Blade was completed on Wild Turtle. They want to get fights now.
Looks like they're all coming out of base, and that is going to be the plan to formulate. Dragon's up in 1:30. Obviously, bottom lane's going to be cleared out here. Hopefully, Dyrus pushes it down and they get some wards in. That's all their, or rather, balls, I should say. Pushes it down, they can get some wards in. Cloud9, they have warded up their side of the jungle like heck, but it's the side of the TSM they need to be on. Right now, I think they're expecting TSM to make a mistake inside the jungle of their own.
TSM trying their hardest to give Cloud9 their first ever playoff loss.
It would be ridiculous.
It's been this mountain the TSM has been unable to climb for so long. Honestly, one of the things that prompted so many of the TSM changes was their inability to challenge Cloud9. If they can't be the best team in North America, then how could they hope to be the best team at Worlds? And TSM, this would be the first step if they can take a game off of Cloud9 in the playoffs.
Huge bit of momentum it would. That first step needs to happen now, because Cloud9 is trying to turn it right back on ahead of Team SoloMid. They will with a nice mid kill. That leaves 30 seconds on Dragon. They're putting the chess pieces ahead way before they need to be, and they're set up for now a turret and possibly this Dragon.
And that was with Bjergsen losing Flash, so he's even more vulnerable in the next fight. The Tristana-Yasuo combo is a very real team fight threat that TSM needs to account for. With the turret being taken down there, if Cloud9 can control that next Dragon, they are right back in the game.
They absolutely are. Didn't even need wards to make that happen, but they have kept themselves quite safe on their own side of the map, stalling out the pressure that Team SoloMid has created. It's like it's now their time to try and fight back.
This is such a tense moment for Cloud9. They do not have the confidence to just go right into the Dragon Pit. The fear of a teleport from Alistar is absolutely huge. They have to be so careful with this. They're trying to rush it down, but there's the Alistar.
Full TP's coming in. Dyer's going to be on the top side. He gets the wave, and he gets actually right over it. Throwing on the Iron Will. Looks like he could stay in the middle of the fight. Turtle, no protection for him on the back line, and he's got 2 big DPS crunchers coming on him. It's going to be 28 seconds for him in the death chamber. Amazing. Now the focus. Dyrus still trying to do what he can, but nobody else was really able there to help him with the field he was creating for the team.
Cloud9 played that fight so damn well right there. They completely were able to bypass the Alistar and make him not matter in that team fight. Getting the Dragon is absolutely critical for Cloud9.
Wild Turtle, unfortunately, coming out of Cloud9's jungle at the beginning of all that, just wasn't the positioning they needed.
I mean, watch this. Alistar comes in, and we're talking about disengage right here. You think Dyrus has done it by peeling off right there, but he's not doing anything with that Rod of Ages. What happened was Cloud9 went for the people they can actually kill, and they're able to get past the cows. So Dyrus has no presence here. Once he uses his headbutt pulverize, he doesn't do anything, especially without a Trinity Force for auto attack damage. They focused down the targets they needed to.
Man.
By the time the ultimate was down for Dyrus, he was just a squishy dude. They finished him off as well, and now they're in the lead. Unbelievable patience from Cloud9.
So much speed to take down Wild Turtle, and then just pretty much nix the damage coming out of TSM for the rest of the fight. Bjergsen needing to get in there with the team next time, but they need the positioning overall, and that was won by Cloud9 very handily. 29,000 now as they take the lead to 28. Game 1 in their favor, and it looks like they're trying to do that again. TSM very close to pulling this one back in their favor, just with another move. Those are going to go back and forth, I feel, for the next 10-20 minutes.
How can TSM beat Cloud9? Because it is so difficult for them to do. They're trying as best they can. They had that early game lead. They took down so many early game turrets, but have the team fights swung against them here. You could see Dyrus was unable to be effective there at that initiation. They have to initiate more cleanly. Dyrus needs to be in there while the TSM members are dealing damage. They cannot have him be run past, and now the tidal wave.
And they don't want to stop.
Is a zone so they can get turret damage down, but Alistar is flanking. This might be the fight.
There goes Dyrus, and he gets a 4-man pulverize. The call
Falling hits the entire wall, and Wild Turtle's forced to stop it himself.
Yes,
Oh
whoa!
my God, High goes in to get the 4-man last breath himself. They're able to completely turn this on Team SoloMid's head, and TSM was coming in for the engage for themselves.
And that's the 2 for 0 right there. Alistair got the pulverize, but where was the follow? Here's some follow.
Another one. Waits for the cooldowns, gets it again. He knows he's going down on the way out, but he's hoping his team can pick up some kills. Balls is going to put the shield on, and he keeps himself alive. Bjergsen cannot scatter anyone else, and the follow will stop. Only High goes down.
These fights are so damn close right now. TSM barely losing out on that one, but it was because Cloud9 just fights cleaner. They got that monstrous 4-man last breath, and there was no exhaust to stop High. I mean, watch this. Dyrus, great flank position. He breaks the CC, 4-man pulverize, but a bubble zoned out Lustboy. Bjergsen couldn't chain with the stun, and Cloud9 lived through it. The flame missed right there from the Thresh, and then everyone from Cloud9 was able to just pile on. If not for that turret, Cloud9 may have just decided to continue to wreck TSM. Bjergsen, though, with some really nice skill shots near the end here. Dyrus still with enough health to do a re-engage after a stun, and he's able to get a little bit of follow, but it was just a 1-for-1 trade after that. And a great escape from Cloud9. So damn low.
It's crazy. It seemed TSM had pretty much their spike in items for the time. The Athenes, the penetration, the round of ages being built up by Dyrus, and Cloud9 won that dragon fight. It's like teams have to be risk averse. Give the dragons up, continue your pressure around the map, because Cloud9 in that 5v5 brawl will just put you on the ground. Then over and over again, where they win the fights. We'll see if it happens again. They took it all the way to mid that time and now have a 2,000 gold lead, and they've started to really even up the turrets. At one point, TSM had a shutout on those turrets, but quickly brought back by Cloud9.
The control has definitely shifted here. The emphasis is on TSM to find initiations and then Cloud9 to counter those initiations. Nami is so critical in this because if Alistair goes in, the follow has to come immediately, and if there's a tidal wave there with nothing on TSM to block it, like a Braum or Yasuo, they basically just have to eat the wave, and that is a really difficult thing to team fight through with all the slow and the minor knockup it provides.
Elimination has had no problem denying that Nami from Lustboy. Doing it now for a second game in a row. See where they keep going here. TSM's now trying to put their foot down, get some more wards down. They definitely need to get that vision before they can start getting themselves in some scary situations. Dyrus on the front line hasn't really had anybody to come up behind him too much. TSM hasn't felt too good about the reinitiate.
So much this is on High's wind wall to be thrown up after Dyrus initiates.
Right.
And prevent follow-up from hitting the team.
Great damage onto the turret. Focus from Team SoloMid is where it needs to be. Turtle trying to keep the wave in so they can just do it quick and get out of this one. Meteos on the side creating options for Cloud9, but he's forced back to the turret now, and it's going to be just all out. 5v5 here at the middle turret before this inhibitor could be possibly going down despite this fight, or decided on this fight, I should say.
Yeah, using the wind walls to just stop the siege is pretty effective thus far. As long as they're able to recover while the wind wall's down. Looks pretty good for them so far. They may actually look for a bit of a counter initiation, but that opens them up to a flank. Good pink ward coverage by TSM. Thought maybe Dyrus would go there, but the TSM follow-up would not be quick. And Amazing takes a bunch of damage.
A very nice scatter. Dyrus puts
Thing is, it's through a wind wall.
The team has to be able to get through with Dyrus. Amazing goes in, he gets exhausted immediately. That's going to be balls on the follow for him. Dyrus still trying to do what he can. This is Wild Turtle now puts himself on the front line. Quickly throws down the summoner heal for himself. A very flat, fast flash. Pulverize coming in. Or headbutt pulverize. He didn't flash, he just moved across the screen.
TSM finds the catch there, and they eliminated High from that fight, and now it's just Cloud9 being scattered. Wild Turtle on the hunt.
Oh, what a nice buster shot to get back, but he pulls him back in. The Dark Passage could be enough. Lustboy is going to have the vision. He should be able to hit this. A nice dodge by Elimination. We do have Bjergsen as well in the mid lane with Sneaky right now, kind of going back and forth. The turret did not fall there. They're going to keep going on this.
The war of the mobility boot supports. Too fast for each other's good. Can't get some skill shots down. TSM trying to get this dragon. It looks like they have just kept this game close.
Smart play by Team SoloMid to come in. Understand that Cloud9 a little bit stronger right now in the game, but they can still win the fights.
There's so much initiation potential, and the chain stun potential from TSM is huge. So this time, they get that first stun onto High. Dyrus chains it, and then in order for High to initiate, which he tried to do, he had to walk through the damage, and he tried to walk through a monster Bjergsen right there. Just a not a clean fight from High. Though if they can burn Darius' ultimate here, it would be huge.
That is absolutely.
But they used last breath on it. That's too much.
High getting very, very antsy in this situation. Very reminiscent of the Fizz play he used to bring out, and it could be getting in their head that they were ahead in this game, and it does not look that way anymore. Team SoloMid starting to take an advantage. The culling, pressuring Lemonation and Sneaky off, but not doing too much damage. This turret's warmed up to go down, and Team SoloMid has got the crowd on their feet.
High making some uncharacteristic mistakes there. You could see the goal was to catch Alistar out of position. Maybe they thought his ultimate was still on cooldown because they burned their team fight on him, and it allowed a fantastic follow from the rest of TSM. Darius is untouched. They get 2 kills, and now they can push more turrets.
All the way across the map, coast to coast for the turrets. Now looking at the front line, just around the horde of the 3 inhibitors on the side of Cloud9. 2,000 gold and a little bag of chips in favor of Team SoloMid. 9 to 10 in kills. These games, they're definitely getting a good amount of kills in. I'm liking it. Trying to brute force through. No poke games here, no tricky stuff, just all out battles.
Very aggressive League of Legends coming on here. Teams trying to catch at each other, but yeah, bubbling to last breath doesn't even phase Darius, and the rest of TSM was there to follow. This was a fight without Wild Turtle, but if all of the damage and cooldowns get built on at Darius, then there is nothing to stop the TSM follow. Meteos, as farmed as he has been on Elise, he was 5-0 at one point, is still just an Elise, very reliant on the base damages. And if he's caught out of position, he's going to die just like anyone else.
So we'll see how TSM stays on top of their advantage here. Wild Turtle doing very good on Lucian this game. 3-2-1, 205 to the 106 of Sneaky. Once again, when they met up in lane, TSM came out on top again. Very good power spikes for both of those AD carries, however, and it's only going to get stronger for Sneaky towards the late game. You can see TSM trying to keep the pressure on and not let that happen. Almost taking Sneaky down, and Darius tries to get in. He does break it, gets the pulverize down. He wanted that headbutt first to create the crowd control and stick Meteos in the same spot. Beautiful pickup here that they're going to get, and it is perseverance that pays off for Team SoloMid.
Interesting that Balls was not willing to use his wild growth on Meteos. It's almost like they're saving it for a later fight. Almost a great escape by Cloud9. Nice catch by TSM, but this game is not yet over. The Baron dance will continue.
Bjergsen showing in mid, trying to get that Fog of the War, Scatter of the Weak, or at least pull somebody, but Cloud9 does not have the vision they want there, so they're playing very wary as they enter the top side of Baron.
Yeah, it's all about sweeper cooldowns. No scrying orb, surprisingly, on Cloud9. You often see a scrying orb from the red side of the map here, meaning they have to kind of walk in this dangerous territory and get picked off.
No ultimate. Didn't even have
too
time.
fast.
Yep.
The stun into the Kha'Zix isolation was just too much to handle. TSM can continue to do that. They'll wait a few seconds. When they realize no one's coming, they can just hit the Baron.
He's doing the fake.
Cloud9 would not see those. This is purely only seeing it on Spectator. Cloud9 just sees a bunch of black.
Yeah, that's the fake. Oh, they go for Meteos as well. They're going to be getting turrets on either side, though, so this means...
Cloud9 pushing down mid lane fairly quickly. Meteos will come again to try and delay this farther. This could be a lost inhibitor for TSM, actually. Meteos might even try and steal the Banshees, can kind of block a stun until it's broken. All right, they're pushing him off. But that's an inhibitor down for sure.
Very interesting. TSM takes quite a bit of time and relinquishes their base. The inhibitor goes down here, and C9 is going to walk out with quite a big lead towards the mid lane and possibly the bottom lane.
Oh, no.
Very careful here. I don't see many home guards.
Cloud9 has to run.
2 home guards here coming out, so everybody else is going to be trying to pick up the slack on the back line. High will be going down without an escape, but that's what Lemonation's ultimate was for. They made some great ground, and there's minions on the Nexus turret.
Cloud9 tried for a home run there. They had Balls teleport in to try and interrupt recalls, and he was unable to. So now Cloud9 overstayed. They were expecting the recalls to be broken, and they were going for 2 inhibitors, but they did not get it.
All the way ring around the rosy here by Team SoloMid and Cloud9. They meet back up in Dragon, and it looks like Turtle very close to going down. The burn stays up, but he's able to get the attacks that keep him alive. Thresh as well, get a little bit of safety.
Hey, Baron buff on 5 members of TSM, but they have to act on this very quickly. Cloud9 did burn that inhibitor down, so if TSM is not pushing the mid lane, then they will lose management of that and have to have a full-time defender, which would allow Cloud9 to just continue to farm up that Trist Yasuo teamfight comp.
Man, quite a bit of multitasking for them to do now. 45 seconds on the Dragon, so they might be able to send, or at least keep Wild Turtle there. They have zero vision. He's going to go back. He's definitely got some items to put in his pocket. What a fantastic game so far. Only 30 minutes into this one. We're definitely not just going to get a one-sided here, but Team SoloMid has to be very careful. One fight wrong, and Cloud9 could be right on the Nexus.
We've seen by this game that both teams are willing to just turn a fight on a moment's notice if they get the right initiation, and that's what a lot of these fights are coming down to, is just who starts it well, or who follows well, or who executes within the team fight. It's a very fluid game that we have here. And it's not like TSM is making the wrong decisions or Cloud9 is making the wrong decisions that frequently. Baiting at the Baron is something that TSM did. They just guessed that Cloud9 was going to be more aggressive about checking, and then it was too late for TSM to respond by the time Cloud9 was pushing mid. Again here, TSM is trying to push mid, but Cloud9 has mind-gamed themselves down to the bottom lane. There may not be an escape from this team fight, and there will be 5 members of TSM trying to chase them down. Cloud9 is going to try and run ring around the rosy here. They might get an inhibitor. They do not want to fight TSM, but they're getting the buildings. They don't know where they are. They're going to run right into them, though.
Lustboy not afraid to start this initiation. Amazing still with the ulti Baron.
This is trouble for Cloud9.
Dyrus with a great initiation from the backside. Bjergsen focusing, seeing what he can get, waiting to take down High, but High still waiting for that GA to get popped. There it is. Bjergsen actually still holding his ultimate. Perfect play here coming in from Cloud9 and Team SoloMid. High gets himself out, but it's going to be now the trade over. One more kill coming in for Team SoloMid. It was a 1-for-1.
Being trapped in a 5v5 against a team with Baron and a gold lead is a nightmare. The fact that Cloud9 only suffered 2 casualties and got 1 kill on the back end is miraculous. Now TSM has to defend these super minions. They have a second inhibitor exposed, and Cloud9 should feel lucky to get out of there with their lives.
Creating pressure, burglarizing the jungle a little bit on the way out. Sneaky's going to get himself a blue buff, and they're happy about that. No timer to be had as they leave up the little minions of the boss spawn. So they're really just trying to deplete what everybody has on the side of TSM. A little bit of a breather now, chat.
Yeah.
Go ahead and figure out what the hell's going on.
The teams have to kind of catch their breath, and at this point, plan their next phase of attack. TSM wants to keep this game controlled. They just want to group up. They want to find an initiation with Alistar, combo with Syndra, and use their superior strength. But Cloud9 is like a bunch of jackrabbits running around. They just can't be contained. This is the right call for TSM, though. They have the 5 people. They still have Baron buff on 4, and Cloud9 does not necessarily have the power to fight them straight on. It's going to be a wave-clear battle, and if Cloud9 tries to split push during this, they would most likely expose themselves to a dead inhibitor.
Meteos on the outside here, chat. Them jackrabbits putting all their eggs in one basket. This could be a pretty big initiation for Cloud9 on the side. They have no vision around them. They've tunneled into the mid lane here. Meteos coming from the side. Misses the cocoon off of a flash.
Really aggressive.
Dyrus with a great ultimate is absorbing so much. The Culling's actually splitting through the uprights right now, not delivering that much damage, and both teams have hardly taken anything out of that, really. Dyrus doing a good job being a frontline tank, and Meteos was pretty much that for Cloud9.
Cloud9 almost scared TSM off there just by being so damn confident. The Baron buff is now gone from TSM, but they flashed in to try and catch Bjergsen. Now they know that Bjergsen's flash is down. So if they could somehow get a catch, they could take him out of a fight, but it's going to be difficult. High took so much poke there. He kind of has to heal right away, which would make the turret die most likely.
TSM being able to get this definitely shows the strength of their 5 right now. This Baron has already worn off, and they are completely taking this with just minion waves. Wild Turtle doing a great job of getting himself in range to just get the few shots off. Very dangerous for him at this point, especially now that Dyrus' ult is down.
Exactly. It's all about fighting within the windows of that Alistar ultimate. No true tank at the moment because this build is very squishy outside of the 70% damage reduction.
Whoa.
Given enough time for Cloud9 to recall. The turret's still taking a few shots, though.
And one more. That's so scary that he has to stay that close. It is going to be the initiation that Cloud9 might have wanted, but not anymore. What a turnaround. Bjergsen was sure to just pinpoint out High in that fight. Double buff just on the outside, but he can't start to connect any shots. Buster's shot is already down. Jat, they are going for the long haul on this one. And the extended fight going in favor right now as the ult up again for Team SoloMid. They break break over the base, and it looks like they want everything. It's going to be 45 to 30-second timers on the clock, and TSM's looking for the next hit.
Rib, this is probably the game. A couple spells landed in the right spot, taking high out of the fights, meaning the threat from Cloud9 was gone, and TSM have just handed Cloud9 their first ever playoff loss.
That is going to happen in our second game of the best-of-5 series here in the 2014 NA LCS Summer Playoff Finals. We're going to Game 3.
TSM strikes back. And we have ourselves a series here.
What fantastic play. A switch has been turned on with the help of Reginald and Loco Doko for Team SoloMid. A complete 180 from the first game that just happened.
Yeah, it was bound to happen eventually. You cannot remain undefeated for that long. High definitely struggled that game. 1-9-7.
Completely different.
By the end of it. He just could not find his way.